ICE arrests police officer in Chicago suburb. Yes, please. Wait, this is the guy they arrested? This one? The Aryan super soldier? The steely-jawed, austere-looking white man? Okay, let's go. Look at his hat, good-looking uniform. I think even the most stalwart anarchists can agree that a police cap looks good, regardless of its associations, you know? I don't know where it comes from, where it derives. I don't know if it's like originally a British thing. It's the police hat, you know? ICE agents arrested a police officer Thursday morning in the Chicago suburb of Hanover Park, accusing him of being an unlawful immigrant from Montenegro. The DHS says the officer, Radul Bolshevik, overstayed a tourist visa that expired in 2015. Sure. The Hanover Park Police Department shared a Facebook post in August announcing Bolshevik's recent graduation from the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy, adding that he had started, quote, an intensive 15 weeks of field training and evaluation as he continues preparing to serve the Hanover Park community. CNN has reached out to the Hanover Park Police for comment and has attempted to reach Bolshevik. Oh, here we go. This is from the DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. We've heard of this one before. Is this the No, this isn't the I wish I was born a Jew one. She works for the State Department. This is another one of those like Hitlerite 15-year-olds working for the administration. Oh, I remember her. We saw a video of her and I was like, is this woman like allowed to drink? I remember. Yeah. We saw her in a CNN interview and I was like, I literally don't know if this is a woman or a girl. I have no idea. She looks like 15, maybe 17, you know? Many such cases in this administration, you know, Trump wants to be surrounded with young girls. It's a tendency. Anyway, she said, Radul Bolshevik violated our nation's laws and was living illegally in the United States for 10 years. What kind of police department gives criminal illegal aliens badges and guns? Oh my God, this is a godsend to us. If there is one bias that police have over all others, it's the fraternal bias. They will do anything to protect their own, okay? Please, God, ICE, arrest more police officers. All of this, like, racial, nationalist, xenophobia bullshit goes out the window once you start actually going after cops. They're going to hate you for it. And they know it, too, which is why their assistant secretary would have to make a statement to CNN right after the arrest. They arrest thousands and thousands and thousands of people every week. They had to make a statement for this one specifically because they know how fraught with danger it is. To go arresting cops. That's crazy. They're so dumb. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just leave it alone? Why they have to understand that one of their biggest weak points right now is their relationship with the police in Chicago. Like, if the police in Chicago don't get along with them, they can't do anything. They're hamstrung. Why would they exacerbate that? That's insane. I'll keep it up. Hold on. If they had to make a statement to CNN, I wonder if the anchors acknowledge it publicly. Let me see if there's a video. Here's a video on Chicago, but I don't see a video specifically on the cop. Let me see if I can find that while we watch this, because I'm really interested in seeing any more, finding any more info on it.
A federal judge in Illinois scrambled to convene a last-minute hearing this morning to say she is, quote, startled by videos she is seeing of ICE's tactics on the streets of Chicago. Now, she says she has, quote, serious concerns that the federal law enforcement agents she is seeing are not following her orders in the Windy City. Her statement comes as CNN obtains new video that shows a Border Patrol agent tackling and pinning.
Oh, yep, here we go. They are so desperate to get ahead of the narrative on this one. Look at this press release from DHS.gov. In Governor J.B. Pritzker's Illinois, illegal alien is working as a sworn police officer with badge, gun, and pension. They are desperate to get ahead of this one. I'm sorry, this is actually, and I mean it, this is an unwinnable conflict on their part. This cannot be won. There is no universe in which the optics pan out in favor of the arrest and deportation of a man who looks like this. It's just not happening. It's not happening. The police aren't going to like it. Republicans aren't going to like it because they're going to be like, no, he looks like he was one of the good ones. And obviously Democrats aren't going to like it because ICE is doing it, you know? They had to go after the whitest fucking Montenegrin. I swear to God. I'm sure there were others. Jesus. Insane thing for ICE to say, by the way. You don't know what's going on, so get the fuck back. Like, they're so obviously not trained as cops. They're just paramilitaries. They have none of the, like, I can't believe we reached a point where we can watch videos like this and go, I miss the calm sensibilities and extensive discipline training of U.S. police.
Just want to emphasize, she was saying he's a citizen. That's what she was screaming. And the incident started when agents crashed their vehicle into an SUV. The people inside that car fled on foot. Agents chased them into a Walgreens. Witnesses tell CNN they went into the Walgreens to record what was happening.
People are getting confused by the name Montenegros in the Balkans. Really, what about the name Montenegro would make people think that it wasn't in the Balkans, out of curiosity?
But they were forced to leave and confronted the agent pinning the 19-year-old to the ground outside the store. CNN's Whitney Wild is in Chicago. Whitney, that video is just one of several we've seen in recent days in Chicago. And we don't know if the judge saw that particular video, but we're just playing a random images and videos that she's been watching in the news.
And there are a lot of them. The reality here is that whenever there are these confrontations between the public and federal agents that flare up, there is a lot of video captured by people on the ground. This has been a huge story in Chicago. Media outlets, everyone, every one of the broadcast networks, all of the newspapers, all of the blogs here are covering this story very, very carefully, Dana. And so what this judge said was, after she had seen these news reports, she wanted, to bring everybody back into court to explain themselves. Let me just give you a little bit of context for the court case. So over the last several weeks, we've seen these flare-ups between protesters, members of the press who are covering the protest, and federal agents at the Broadview ICE facility. That's about 30 minutes west of Chicago. And, it was there that we were starting to see federal agents use.
I really hope Elio's arrest an ICE officer next. That's probably going to be the big. That's going to be the big, like, legal confrontation point. At least I hope it is. That would be basically ideal for us. I've been thinking that when the big happening happens, it's going to be some kind of point of violence between protesters and ICE. But if it ends up being like a scuffle between ICE and police, that would be the best possible scenario for us. It would be the easiest thing in the world for Democrats to defend. Everybody, even remotely left of center, would pretty obviously take the side of the cops over ICE. I don't think that's a hard call at all. And Republicans would have a tough time defending ICE because, they would be like openly on camera resisting police. It would be perfect for us. It would be ideal.
Chemical munitions against peaceful protesters, against members of the press. This really blew up when a WBBM, that's the CBS affiliate here, a WBBM reporter says that she was pepperballed by federal agents in her vehicle, and she had to get out. She couldn't breathe. It was a really dangerous situation for her. After that happened, the union that represents journalists went to federal court to ask a judge to put more controls on how federal agents are using force on the ground. Last week, a judge issued a temporary restraining order basically saying that federal agents are not to use chemical munitions against peaceful protesters, against members of the press. They needed to be much more cautious about their use of force. Then Tuesday happened. That is when that crash you referenced happened. The public saw that. It all played out on a city street in broad daylight. And when the public learned what happened, through witnesses, through basically word of mouth and from social media videos, a crowd gathered. And that's what you're looking at right here. As you see, the Chicago Police Department went to that scene to try to help with crowd control. As federal agents were leaving, they detonated again these chemical munitions, exposing the public, exposing.
Really appreciate her using the term chemical munitions, which of course that is exactly what they are.
Reporters who were on the ground, but also members of the Chicago Police Department who did not know they were about to be tear gassed. So 13 of those officers were exposed. The judge referenced those incidents in aggregate, and so she brought everybody back into court today to explain themselves and reiterated the importance of following her temporary restraining order and put more conditions on it, Dana, adding that she wants every one of these federal agents who's working on this Operation Midway Blitz to wear a body camera. She says it must be recording, and then again...
Oh, okay. We have the recording confirmation.
And I think the most important moment from the hearing was when she said this. I'm a little startled, frankly, that since Thursday when
ICE don't give a shit about you LEOs. Well, it goes beyond that. Again, if we are working on my assumption, not just my assumption, there are plenty of people who have speculated this, that the reason ICE is all masked up is because a significant number of the new people that have bolstered their ranks are open and known white nationalist militias. In all likelihood, ICE fucking hates the cops. Like, these people probably think the cops are, like, compromised by the Jews or whatever. And I'm not exaggerating for comedic effect there. Like, that is a commonly held sentiment. There's, like, a right-wing horseshoe spectrum where the further to the right you get, the more likely these people are to despise the cops. You saw it with January 6th, right? Clearly, the right is willing to not back the blue once their aims get radical enough, you know, once they're, like, openly anti-law. It's a lot of these ICE people probably think that they're part of, like, the mission to destroy the deep state, and a lot of these cops are still part of the old system. What's LEO? Law enforcement officer. Why didn't the judge say no mask too? Because the judge can only rule in interpretations of the law, like jurisprudence where they make people account to existing laws. Judges can't create new laws, and there is no law in Illinois that would require ICE to wear masks. Anyway, the fact that a lot of the ICE agents despise the police, the fact that a lot of police are getting fed up with ICE because they're increasing their, you know, making their job a lot harder, tear gassing them and so on. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Entered that temporary restraining order last week. I'm getting images and seeing images on the news, in the paper, reading reports where, at least from what I'm seeing, I'm having serious concerns that my order's being followed. And then later she said, I'm really not happy. Again, she put more conditions on her temporary restraining order, and then she says she wants to see the ICE field director in court on Monday to explain himself, Dana.
Awesome. Fantastic. Great. I'm very happy to hear that. Oh, please, God, get ICE reps in there to explain what the fuck they're doing. I would love that. I am really surprised the administration didn't back off Chicago. Remember, they were gunning up to invade Chicago for a while. Right now, a judge's order is preventing the National Guard from going in. And then Trump said they're going to give up in Chicago and just focus on Portland. But then the lawsuits happened in Portland, and now they're back in Chicago. They're floundering so fucking hard, man. And every day, the approval rating just ticks lower and lower and lower. None of the underlying fundamental problems are being addressed. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so this is Carolyn Levitt speaking on the police officer arrested by ICE. For this to even go to Carolyn Levitt, that's fucking crazy, man. Okay, they're really, really, really worried about the optics on this one.
I just want to hit you with a little bit of breaking news from DHS. You may not have heard of this. This just came out. Apparently, as part of Operation Midway Blitz, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, announced the arrest of Radule Bojovic, an illegal alien from Montenegro who was working as a sworn police officer with the Hanover Park Police Department. Bojovic apparently was encountered during a targeted enforcement action as part of Operation Midway Blitz. DHS reminding it's a felony for an illegal alien to possess a firearm, and this fellow apparently was working as a sworn police officer.
Everyone here looks insane. I can't get over this. Everyone here, they all look insane. No human should have these skin tones. They're all like bleached platinum blonde. They all look deranged. Their faces all look unnatural. It's crazy. Look at this. Look at this. What the fuck?
I know you might not know much about it, but wondering if we can get an initial reaction.
No, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. I will take your facts as the facts, John, on this one. And it's unsurprising to me to hear this because we've seen various examples of this. There was a superintendent, I believe in the state of Iowa, who was here in this country illegally with a final order of removal. We've seen that New York State has been giving out licenses illegally to illegal aliens with literally, it says, no name given on the driver's license. So these are the cases that happen when you had an administration, the Biden administration, for 4 years that completely neglected the laws of our homeland that allowed an
homeland. Why is she talking like that? Illegally homeland. Why is she talking like that? Is her face still like numb?
Mass invasion of tens of millions of illegal aliens, and they have been infiltrated into our communities. So this
been infiltrated into? I actually believe her. I believe that she didn't hear about this prior. Normally when they say that, I assume they're lying, but this time I believe her. I think she's actually getting blindsided with this. Man, DHS or Homeland Security Assistant Secretary commenting on it, post on the website right after it happens, Fox News pitching it to Carolyn Levitt. It's not going to work out.
This is another unfortunate example of that, and the Department of Homeland Security is doing incredible work every single day.
Oh, don't post his picture, man. You know perfectly goddamn well every Fox viewer was imagining somebody who looked like they were from Somalia. You know perfectly goddamn well. You could have just left the implication. You should have just put a black guy in a Halloween costume up with a little unreadable text in the bottom right, picture unrelated.
In the face of grave danger and threats, and also Democrats holding their paychecks hostage. We have federal law enforcement who are trying to keep our communities safe, and they are not being paid because of the Democrat Party, but they are doing God's work, and we are very grateful for them, and the president stands behind them 100%.
Caroline, really appreciate you coming back on America Reports. Good to have you here.
It's not going to work out. I wonder if the Hanover Park Police Department is going to issue a public statement saying something to the effect of we're unaware of any concerns about an overstayed visa. However, so-and-so was a beloved member of our department who dedicated his life to service and so on. So, something defending him. Do you think their intention is to replace police? No, I don't think they have an intention. I think they're being really fucking stupid. There are so many cops in this country. Lowball estimate, 500 billion. There are a ton of cops in this country, and the combined political and military might they possess is unrivaled by anything in the US, possibly even the Pentagon. If you add up all of the police officers in the United States and all of the control and jurisdiction they have, I think that even the military would have an extremely difficult time not fighting against the police, but in terms of control over the country, the police are already everywhere. So the thing you would expect them to do is you would expect the MAGA movement to lie and capitulate as much as possible to make sure the cops are on their side. The fact that they're not doing that is insane. I made a point a while ago, back in 2023, 2024, that there was a noticeable shift in the MAGA movement. They went from expanding their base and bringing new people in to consolidating and closing out more people. It was the difference. I think the description was, or the difference was there was the period of time where they liked Blair White because she did that, she did her pick me op of no, you can be a sane transgender and just not be supportive of gender ideology or whatever. But they've since completely dropped her. They don't care about her. There's now no room for trans people in their movement. They don't have to pretend anymore. And this is one demographic where you can't afford to consolidate and leave them on the outside. There is no world in which a fascist movement overtakes a country without the support of police. It is not possible. It's not possible. It would be as ridiculous as a fascist movement taking over a country with no backing of capital. It would be insane. Maybe they'll shift the rhetoric soon. I just don't think they have a plan. I think the MAGA movement kind of assumed they already had the cops in the bag. I don't really know how else you can explain their behavior here. No effort on the part of the DHS to coordinate with local police departments or at least train their officers to not be openly belligerent to them. That's insane. You need the support of the police. The Nazis knew to lie nonstop and capitulate to make sure enough groups were on their side for them to seize power. Don't they have the cops in the bag? They all vote Trump. Yeah, cops are Trump supporters, but cops are also self-interested, very self-interested. They operate like gangs, effectively. I mean, they are very in-group oriented. So they can be pro-Trump, but then if ICE comes to their neighborhood, disrespects them, implicitly suggests they're doing bad at their job, tear gasses them, they're not being shown respect, and it plays out in the dynamic. Cops are very prideful. Keep it up, I guess. Yeah, cops typically don't like it when federal officers step in their territory to begin with. So there's a couple of layers of disgruntlement at work here.